Hello, everyone. I am Denise O'Malley, the founder of You Define Wellness. And thank you for joining us for another Wellness Wednesday Lunch Bunch. You know, we haven't done this in a couple of weeks, um, and that's mainly because life has gotten in the way. We've had the 4th of July holiday that has gone on. Today is, what is it, July 14th. So we've just taken a little bit of a break because we have a lot of things going on at You Define Wellness, including our huge Transitions 2021 event that's going to be happening August 27th and 28th. But we wanted to get back on track. We've been talking about the many dimensions of wellness, and we at You Define Wellness use 8 dimensions of physical, emotional, financial, social, spiritual, environmental, occupational, and intellectual. And today we're going to be focusing about emotional wellness. And joining me, I have Kim Flood, who is the owner of Wisdom and Wellness. And I have Robert Sanders, who you've seen before on the Wellness Wednesdays Lunch Bunch, and he is the owner of Mental Health and Peace. Welcome, you guys. I am so glad to have you with me today. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. So let's start. We don't normally do this, but hey, we can do anything we want, right? I want to start with some introductions. I want you to understand, as the audience, who I have with me today, because this is a really big subject, emotional wellness. So Kim, do you want to start with telling us who you are, where you're from too?
No, sure. Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Yeah. So I'm Kim Flood. I live in Madison, Wisconsin, and I own Wisdom and Wellness, and I am a licensed heart math trainer and wellness coach. So I've been working with children, families, individuals for the past 27 years, working with people that have experienced trauma and grief and loss, coaching them and teaching them techniques to help them feel better in today's challenging world. And I teach heart math techniques. That's HEARTMATH. Some people need that to understand. And I'm very, very excited about that because it's greatly beneficial. So
Absolutely. Robert, if you'll introduce yourself.
Yes, well, you already know my first name, Robert Sanders. I'm in Colorado Springs, the great state of Colorado. So emotional wellness, you know, we are faced every day with challenges. It could be the challenges of driving to work, of going back to work after a year of staying home with COVID. It could be the challenges of how you feel about yourself. Perhaps things happened to you in your past and you're kind of left with this baggage that says, I'm not good enough, I'm not fast enough, I'm not pretty enough. All those things that you can imagine goes on in your mind. Now, emotional wellness, you know, when something happens and we trigger and we react in a negative manner or a self-protective manner, and if that happens on a regular basis, then I think we're not well. You know, like a broken leg will heal. We can also heal our minds, and we can heal the things that happen to us from a memory, from an emotional feelings perspective. Okay, and that's what I do. I am the CEO of the owner of Mental Health and Peace. I work with people all over the world, usually through the internet, but we get right down to it. What is the problem? What bothers you? Okay, how do you know? Let's not talk about it. This is not talk therapy. We get down to the root cause and we find that root cause and we change it. And we use a tapping technique to do that. And tapping, of course, has been around for a long time. It's based on the ancient Chinese acupressure, acupuncture, meridian points. Maybe we can talk more about that later. But anyway, in a nutshell, that's what I do. My goal is to help people and teach people how to take care of themselves.
Awesome. What I love is you both have some modalities that are not mainstream yet when it comes to working with mental health. Kim, how is Heart Math different?
well, like Robert said, it sounds very similar. It's not talk therapy. It's actual techniques that help you calm down your central nervous system, our autonomic nervous system. So by using the heart math techniques, and there's technology that goes along with it so that you can see in real time what is happening in your nervous system. And it shows you that you can go from a state of stress into a state which we call coherence, which is optimal state of functioning, where your mind and your body and your emotions are all in sync and you're feeling your best. And when you're in that state, you are able to make good decisions, be very much more rational and logical, and manage whatever comes at you. And like Robert said, it's greatly beneficial right now. And I do a lot of workshops, and I call them Find Calm Amidst the Chaos, because the world is flooding us with a lot of unpredictability and confusion and fear and uncertainty and all these negative things. And those feelings are, they wreak havoc on our body. So Heart Math is a modality that helps you sort of get to the root, just like Robert said, get to the root of the problem without having to talk about all the things, and just deal with whatever stress is showing up for you in that particular day.
I love this. I'm not a fan of talk therapy. Not to say, okay, I don't want to alienate anyone, particularly those in our network who do talk therapy. It's not the thing that I like for me, but it has been extremely beneficial, and I have absolutely done it, and it has gotten me to points where I needed to be. What I love is both of you have these modalities that you can, an individual can learn some new skills that they're able to do on their own. Yes. As well. So it's not just reliant upon any talk therapy that'll take place. You know, in the workplace right now, mental health is the key buzzword right now. Everybody's talking about mental health. Okay, I know the answer to this, but I want to hear what you guys have to say. Why? Don't you love that?
Well, you know what Kim said, when we are not, you know, if we are not at our best, then it's very difficult to make good decisions. Yeah. You know, when someone passes away in your family, you know, we are told, don't make any decisions for a year. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason for that, okay? Right. Because, you know, we're sort of in that fight or flight mental state, and our prefrontal cortex is just almost offline. Our vision is just very narrow to surviving. Yeah. Not a good time to make financial decisions, or, you know, buying something, selling something, etc. But I wanted to make a comment about what you mentioned earlier, that our modalities are maybe not mainstream. However, EFT, faster EFT have been studied quite a lot. Mm-hmm. You know, Dawson Church, she's PhD, has studied that to the point, evidence-based studies. And the Veterans Administration now uses, or has authorized, EFT to be used for the treatment of PTSD. Mm-hmm. Okay, they found that it's effective, even more effective than the standard processes they have been using. Not to say that there's not a place for talk therapy or any of the other treatments. This is just one more. It's new. Essentially, it's new, but it works, and it works fast. Yeah. Okay, and we can teach anybody to do it to themselves. Yeah. Okay, and then you asked me to expand on something. Now I've forgotten what that was.
That's okay. I want to go on with what you've been saying. First of all, when I say it's not mainstream, it's my mission to make it mainstream. That's what Unifying Wellness is all about, is to make all of these modalities acceptable and go to when something happens. You know, living in Colorado, we're not the only ones who have had major headline news, mass shootings and things like that. It's obviously been a nationwide epidemic, if not a worldwide epidemic, but we have them. And the first thing that happens in a crisis situation is the employer is told, bring in the psychotherapist, you know, bring in the EAP. Not a bad thing to do. It's not for everyone. We found it to be true when we were called into service. We have a holistic healing crisis support team at Unifying Wellness. It's kind of in the back. If somebody needs it, we can pull it out. But what that means is that we can bring in people from all different modalities to assist the employees. And we were called into service a couple of Septembers ago when at a friend of mine's, her daughter's elementary school over the weekend, an 8-year-old boy committed suicide. And it was a horrible thing. And the Denver Public Schools absolutely brought in the psychotherapists for the staff. But she, the mother of a student there, says, you know, wait a second, I know you guys need more than that. And she got permission from the principal to allow me to bring people in. Now, I will tell you that the principal thought we were just bringing in chair massage. we didn't ask for permission. We just brought in who we needed, and we brought in energy healers. We brought in acupuncturists. We brought in a single person to do chair massage, and we wanted it to be one person because we wanted people to say, oh, there's a line. What else can I do? We wanted them to try these other things. And we knew it was a success when employees, based on their feedback from us that was immediate, but also the feedback within the week afterwards when I received phone calls from people saying, you know what, I really need to talk to so-and-so. They really helped me. Can you give me their phone number? And they hadn't picked it up. So, you know, we're on this mission to make this mainstream because there are so many different things that can be done for emotional wellness. And I think that we're at a critical point right now where, you know, we've never had certain things converge at the same time. I mean, between the politics of the nation, you've got that going on, the pandemic, which we're still dealing with, right? And then grief. Kim, you mentioned grief is something that you do. That's a buzzword right now as well. We're getting a lot of interest in the videos we've done on grief because employers just they're not equipped. They don't know what to do. They need to have help out there. So, you know, what are the things that we can be saying to an employer? And let's go that direction.
You know, one of the things that I understand, you know, I'm retired military and I know the importance of teamwork.
Yeah.
But as you said, now we're bombarded with all types of media information about what's going on in the world. And we're stuck at home with COVID. And maybe the people we're stuck with, sometimes they're difficult people to be with. Okay. And so we have some problems. One thing that employers want, they want a smooth running workforce that everybody's happy to be there and they can work together. But if people bring with them their personal problems, okay, their angers, their fears, I don't feel good today, I don't trust that person, or somebody comes to your desk and they want to tell you all about it. We don't have time for that. Okay, so what does an employer do? I've been to an employer where they had a quiet room. It was just one room, empty room they lined it, made sure it was quiet. When somebody felt stressed, they would just go to the quiet room, or they'd go there for a break time and they would meditate, or they would tap, or they would do some deep breathing techniques. They would do whatever they needed to do to calm themselves down, to allow themselves to get back in control. This is something we can teach employers how to do. You know, I work with a team of 5 people. They're all going in different directions and they all had sort of things against each other. But when we got done, they understood how they were feeling, why they were feeling the way they were feeling, and they were equipped to work on those things. So I'm excited about that. You know, Kim, I'm sure that you offer your clients training as well on how to take care of themselves.
Right. And I think people are looking for, and I sort of a quick something to do that's going to be fast, you know, to find some sort of relief, you know, and maybe there are times where people need to talk about things more thoroughly. But I think what I like about what I do is that I bring both. I can do both, but the heart math, learning heart math is an actual something that you can grab onto in the moment, anywhere, anytime you can use it. And you're going to see some benefit of it. So, you know, helping the employers understand that they don't need to pay for therapy sessions or anything like that. They can actually buy a device and have it there in their office for people to come and use to get that validation that they're feeling better and that they've shifted out of a state of stress. It can happen in as little as 5 minutes, maybe 5 to 15 minutes, you know, anytime during the day. And I think that helps kind of wash away the stigma that has been out there for many, many years about mental health and taking care of yourself and doing what you need to do for yourself. And I think people feel better about doing something that's just a quick, you know, something that's tangible to help them feel better to move through their day.
So the heart math is a device?
So no, the heart math is a techniques, but there is technology that you hook a sensor up to your ear or your fingertip, and it measures your heart rate and your heart rate variability and what's going on in your nervous system. So you can actually get feedback immediately that tells you that your your nervous system is fighting against each other and it's trying to get calm, but you can't for whatever reason. And so the techniques that we teach that are very simple but powerful help you, focus basically on your heart and help you start sending messages from your heart to your brain to release hormones that are going to settle your nervous system down, DHEA, serotonin, dopamine, things like that. To help calm down your nervous system so that the readout will show that you've shifted into a state of coherence where your nervous system is basically functioning out of the parasympathetic piece rather than the sympathetic, which is a stress.
So I'm going to ask you a question, then Robert, I'm going to ask you the exact same question. So Kim, how long does it take to do training? Let's say you were to go into the workplace, how long is a training to get people to learn how to do this?
So I offer 1 hour workshops. I can do 45-minute workshops. I can teach it in a half an hour. I do it whatever people can do. But I offer 1 hour workshops because I like to really explain the physiology of this. And I like to explain the science behind it because I think that people need to hear that. It helps them, understand what's going on. I want people to understand I want people to have power for themselves to know what's going on within their body and empower them to be able to do something when they feel a certain way. So I like to talk about that and then have people actually see the technology and try the technology and have me explain it, and then they can go forward with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Robert?
Well, I teach people how to do self-care techniques as part of the session that we do. But when I work with my client and his team of people, it took an hour for me to explain the basics, take them through. I did a demonstration, take them through it, had them go through it and experience what it is, that you do when you're tapping, how you're tapping. And then, so it's about an hour, I guess, if I did a class on that. And that's just for a basic level. Understand, there are like 5 levels of certifications in order to, be considered to be a practitioner. But for the, like a level 1 person, to learn how to work on yourself, understanding the presuppositions, the basic principles, how to do it, when to do it, the benefits, and then, what you practice afterwards. So, if an employer was interested in having me come to their location, put together a class, I could do it in about an hour, so that everybody has a basic understanding. And then from that, hand out some flyers to, talk about, do this, do this, do this, do this. The benefit of it is you can do it anywhere.
Right. You've been on calls with me where we're on Zoom and you're tapping as you're driving down the road.
Well, that's true. You can do that. Here's the thing. We have go-tos. We have programs, right? When you're driving down the road and somebody cuts off in front of you, you go to the anger program, right? Not saying that everybody does, but, typically. And then you go to the anger program, you beat on your steering wheel, you give them a gesture, maybe you say something. And that's pretty much what you do all the time. That's your program. That's how you deal with the challenges of disappointment or loss or whatever, unfairness. Okay. So what I would suggest, yes, when somebody cuts you off and you feel that response, you start tapping. Instead of doing everything else, you start tapping. Just notice how you feel and you tap and you do a round of tapping. And then instead of running away, you go back again and you try to feel it again. Okay. And then you start tapping again. And then you go back and you do it again until that emotion is completely gone. Okay. That's the basic part. That's what you do. It doesn't get rid of or change what happened in the past. Okay. You would need to work with a practitioner to make those types of changes. But in the heat of the moment, changes you can do all by yourself.
Okay.
There's so much power in what you're saying, Robert, and I can identify. That's why I'm nodding profusely. One of the phrases that I learned and I use a lot that people are grabbing onto is this power to, if you name it, you can tame it. If you can
Right.
if you notice that you're bubbling, or if you're tense, a certain part of your body, I help people understand that. You can start to name what you're feeling, and then you can do something about it. But we really, in our society, it's getting better, but people don't do that. They don't pay attention. They're in their heads. Everything's so fast, and we're in this fire hose of everything that we talked about before, that they just don't take that time. And so it's really fulfilling to be able to teach people to slow down just a little bit and start to name it. I'm stressed right now, and then giving them something to do when they name it. Here's how you can tame it. So I just wanted to point that out, because it's what you're just talking about.
Yeah.
It's
And
great.
one of the important things to understand, when we're born, we're pretty clean, right? We're not born with anything. But the people around us, they teach us what they know. Our brothers and sisters and students and coaches and whatever, they all teach us what they know. Sometimes what they teach us isn't good stuff, right? But they teach us they're doing the best they can. And so we grow up and we get our own identity. But our whole life, we've been taken care of. Our parents are feeding us, they're giving us clothing, they tell us what to do, and they give us advice and all that. And then when something bad happens, they did it. He did it. He
Yeah.
made me feel bad. Well, as you get older, let's call that the lower model of the world, okay? As we get older, some people are still in the lower model of the world saying, he made me mad.
Yeah.
He made me angry,
Yeah.
etc. Well, think about this. When you're in New Jersey and I'm in California, and through a phone call, I made you feel bad, who's got power? Who's got the control over you and your emotions?
Right.
Not you, somebody else does, okay? When you are in control of yourself, anybody can say anything. And, we understand that words don't mean anything until you give it meaning.
Right.
Right. And so we talk about that. We talk about the importance of the meaning that you give to things around you will affect how you feel inside of you.
Yeah. Yeah. So necessary right now, especially when we're feeling so out of control with all of the things, right? To help people understand that there is so much power and control, and it's right there within themselves, and helping them recognize that and realize that is amazing. So yeah.
So we've been talking a lot about the workplace, but it all flows to the individuals. If you're watching this and you're thinking, wait, I don't have an employer group, or I'm self-employed, it's all the same thing. Again, I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm gonna pose it anyways. Is what's the detriment of not paying attention to the emotional feelings that are going on inside of you?
Your health, mental and physical. I mean, when you're in negativity, and the world is sort of negativity a lot of the time, unless they're paying attention to it, your body is releasing hormones all the time, and you're releasing cortisol when you're in stress, when you're feeling sad or anxious or frustrated or angry or confused, or the unpredictability, and that wreaks havoc on your body. You find you have digestive issues, you find you have headaches, you have muscle tension, you have body aches and pains that are just never going away. When you start to clear out that cortisol out of your brain and your body, you can find that your systems run, your immune system functions better, you sleep better. People can't sleep when they're running on cortisol, because cortisol is the hormone that wakes us up in the morning. But if we have it running in our system all the time, you can't sleep, and you wonder why. So there's sleep, there's immune, there's health, there's mental health. All of those things are the detriment of not paying attention and not taking a time to take care of yourself in this way.
That's true what Kim says. If you imagine that we are inside a chemical mixture, okay, it is the chemistry that allows us to feel the emotions and the pains and the angers and the fears and all that. For instance, first of all, the subconscious is the smartest thing about us all. It runs everything. Okay. If we're triggered about something, instantaneously a message is sent from the subconscious to the organs of the body, and the organs of the body produce chemicals. And depending on which chemicals are produced, we feel fear. Okay. If you go to a happy memory and you stay in that happy memory, maybe for a minute or 90 seconds, okay, we have a different set of chemistry, and suddenly now we feel better. So it's a chemistry balance. So if you are in stress, what happens to you? Your heart rate goes up, your respiration goes up, your digestive system shuts down, the blood goes out to the extremities of your body so you can get ready to run, fight or flight, whatever necessary. And and of course, your heart rate is up, blood pressure goes up. If you're in this state for a short period of time, maybe it's acute, up and down, boom, you're fine. No big deal. But if you're in this state for weeks and months, and some people are in this state for years, this chemistry inside your body can certainly cause havoc within your organs and the other cells of your body, and you can just get sick.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, yes, it's good to be balanced. It's good to be emotionally well. That way you run at your optimum, the way you're supposed to run.
Yeah. Yeah. We talk a lot about cortisol, the stress hormone, and I said in the beginning, when there's a lot of cortisol running around in your system, it wreaks havoc on everything, but it especially affects your prefrontal cortex, and it inhibits the ability to make good decisions. And so you need to sort of flush that away so that you can actually make good decisions to get better. Really starts with doing something first, and then you can make decisions on how to go better, and then maybe talking about the root of the problem or something else that you would never be able to do that when you're in that state. And when you've got those chemicals and hormones running around in your body is not used to that and does not like that. So all of the energy goes there to try to fight that off.
So what I'm hearing from both of you is that if somebody's going through some chronic illness, whatever it may be, that it would really be wise to supplement whatever you're doing for the physical health with doing one of the techniques that you guys specialize in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we have worked with people. We had a lady that she lived in Denver that had lupus, and it was really giving her a lot of problems, and she was in a wheelchair. And she came to one of our classes, a seminar in Oklahoma City, learned how to tap. It was a week-long course. Okay, learn how to tap. And I think she came back for a second week for like level 2. And she went back to her doctors after tapping for a few months, and the doctor said, "There's no more evidence that you have lupus."
Wow.
Okay, so this is like, wow,
Yeah.
how is that possible? A friend of mine in Canada had multiple chemical sensitivity. She was bedridden for a couple of years. I mean, she was a nurse, she was like on top of her game, but that's what happened to her. And she learned how to tap, and she started doing it. And within 5-6 months, she's out of bed, she's running around, and today it's gone. Okay. Now, she eventually became a practitioner. So I do know, in fact, I worked with somebody the other day, said, yeah, I have a lower back pain. One of my discs is screwed up, and I asked about that, and it says, well, how do you know? Where is it located? And she said, yep, it's located right there. And I employed a couple of techniques. We did some tapping. And then I just went on, we had a conversation about something completely different. And at the end of our session, about an hour later, I said, oh, by the way, how's your back? And suddenly the pain was gone. We didn't do anything special to it, but we recognized it and we named it. Okay. And so what Kim says, once you name it, you can manage it. So this is really exciting things. Somebody said to me, you got to be careful what you say to children, because it all in and they believe you. So if you would imagine as a mother with a couple of kids at a grocery store, And Jimmy is always getting himself in trouble, right? And so the mother has had enough, and she turns around and said, Jimmy, what's wrong with you? Well, Jimmy, he's just a little kid. He says, what? Something's wrong with me? Now Jimmy is going to start looking around for something that's wrong with him. He'll find it.
Yep.
And now Jimmy, right? And now
Right.
Jimmy.
Yeah. And then he feels bad about himself and
Yeah.
feelings around that. And then he stores it if it's not attended to. Yeah. Those are a lot of the things that I work with people on individually too, is recognizing the stories that they tell themselves about themselves and about themselves in the world that are based on things that they've experienced in their life. That's getting to the sort of the root of the problem. Yeah, it matters. It matters a lot.
I have to put a disclaimer in here for anybody watching this video that doing these techniques, we cannot guarantee that any disease or illness that you are facing is going to disappear. This is just something for you to investigate on and learn about, because I don't need to have the FDA or anyone else breathing down my neck saying that we claimed that it would magically cure anything that's going on in your world.
Yeah.
But it absolutely can help support you.
Yes.
And you might be surprised at what you might achieve. Okay, so this sounds like a really good time for us to go into, because I think we can talk and talk and talk for a long time, so we've got to find a close somewhere. So we're going to move into some final thoughts. And so Robert, I want to start with you. Final thoughts that you have, and then also if you will mention how they can reach you, even though on the Facebook Live, we have already put your contact information.
Okay. Well, one thing is important to understand, that we have the power within ourselves to help ourselves. We can do that many different ways. Typical self-help techniques, like breathing techniques, meditation, mindfulness, getting exercise, good sleep, rest, socializing with people. Okay. Trying to have a stress-free life. Okay. Other techniques include tapping. And, if you want to know about tapping, really, you can go on YouTube and tap and put it in there, and you can see all kinds of stuff about tapping. If you have a problem that's kind of big, and some of us have those kind of problems, you need to find a practitioner. And if you want to find a practitioner, you can go to look up Mental Health and Peace on Facebook. And then there's a way to contact me there. I don't know, I probably shouldn't be giving my phone number out on
they can Google search you. We'll have your contact information on the YouTube.
Right. Okay. So there are quite a few practitioners for faster EFT. That's what I do, or you can call it Eutaptics. It's a gentle but very direct approach, and we teach you how to do it so you can help yourself.
Awesome. Kim, final thoughts, and then how they can do.
Everything Robert said, but I just want people to know that you deserve to feel your best. You deserve it, and there are ways out there to there are things like tapping, and there's Heart Math, and there's other modalities out here for you. So it can only help. It really can only help for you to take the time and the space to devote to learning a little bit more about yourself and finding ways that you can feel your best every single day. So I also have a website, findwellnesstoday.com. That's how you can research me and my gig going on, Wisdom and Wellness, or wisdomandwellnesskf@gmail.com. That's my email. I won't throw out a phone number right now, but I'm out there and excited about what I do. I'm a firm believer, and I would love to share more with anybody that wants to learn. And Heart Math has a website. Heart Math has been around for a good 25 years, and many people have never heard of it before, which is a shame. So there's a heartmath.com. You can go on their website, Heart Math Institute. There's videos galore on there. There's lots and lots of information. Yeah, check it out.
Awesome. And I want to speak to the audience right now and just say that, first of all, thank you for watching this video and participating today, and hearing more about emotional wellness and some techniques and tools that can help support you. And if you're an employer and are looking for solutions for the workplace, because you know what, you're walking down a path that nobody's walked down before, and you've got to find your own way sometimes. So we have resources for you. Just reach out to us. That's what we're there for. We have tons of educational videos on our website. Just go to youdefinewellness.com. That's YOU definewellness.com. and go click on YDW recorded, and you will find tons of videos that we have done over the past couple of years. And it's an excellent resource library to have available to give out to your employees when they need help with something. That being said, I want to say thank you, Kim, your first time being with us. Thank you. Definitely valued content that you were able to provide with us. Robert, it's always a pleasure to have you be a part of our Wellness Wednesdays lunch bunches. And thank you for taking time out of your day as well.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Denise. And Kim, I spent some time in Wisconsin